Good evening. This is a regularly scheduled meeting of the Kettering City Council. Today's date is August 13th, 2024. Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance
to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all.
Please bow your head for the invocation. Mr. Sedek is going to do that this evening.
Gracious, loving God, we gather this evening in unity and hope as leaders of our city. We ask for your guidance as we lead our community and ask that you grant us wisdom to make decisions that uplift and benefit all. Help us to bridge divides and work together in harmony, hearing every voice and honoring every need we hear. We ask for your blessing upon this meeting and upon every person it impacts. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Brian. Next, I'd like to recognize our Miami Valley Communications Council TV operator, Mike Soproni. Mike, thank you for your attendance and help as usual. I'd like to move to approval of minutes. Mrs. Fisher, can you please give us a motion to approve the minutes?
Yes, ma'am. I have reviewed both the council meeting and the workshop minutes for the 23rd of July. I do find them in order, and I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, it's been moved and seconded. Call the roll.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mr. Sudduth?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mayor Lehner?
Yes. We have no proclamations or special presentations this evening, so we will move to public hearings, and we have no public hearings this evening. If there's anyone at this point who would like to address council on any of the legislation that is before you on tonight's agenda, they may come down at now. As always, the person needs to give their name, their address, and their comments should be addressed to council. Is there anyone here this evening who wishes to speak to council? Okay, seeing none, we'll move along. We will now go to ordinances. We have no ordinances in second reading. Do we have any resolutions? Call Mrs. Fisher.
Yes, ma'am. I do have a resolution authorizing the city manager to purchase approximately 5,500 tons of road salt for the 2024-25 winter season through a state or local cooperative purchasing program. The estimated cost is $350,130. Our budget is $180,000. It is requested by Public Service Department, and I move for its approval.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Bergstresser, do you have any comments?
Yes, thank you, Your Honor. As mentioned, this resolution will allow us to purchase about 5,500 tons of road salt for the upcoming winter season. Back in June, the local cooperative purchasing program that we use for road salt purchases opened bids, and what is maybe a reflection on the milder winters we've been having, the bid prices for this go-around for the upcoming season were about 30% lower than last year's pricing. So I think I've just jinxed us to have a major blizzard this winter.
Yeah.
However,
Thanks.
we will enjoy lower prices if we do have to put the salt down. So be happy to answer any questions.
Okay. Anyone have any questions? Seeing none, please call the roll.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Sudduth?
Yes.
Mayor Lehner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to use competitive bargaining and negotiated quotes to contract for the replacement of the existing security system at the Kettering Municipal Court. The estimated cost and the amount budgeted is $50,000. It is requested by the Public Service Department, and I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Bergstresser.
Thank you, Your Honor. As mentioned, this is a 2024 capital improvement program project that will spend $50,000 to replace the existing, in fact, original cameras and the digital video recorder that operates the security system within the municipal courts building. Be happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions? Okay, call the roll.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Sudduth?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mayor Lehner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to accept a grant from the Ohio Arts Council. The estimated amount is $35,773, which will be included in the 2025 budget, and this is being requested by Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts Department. I move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Bergstresser.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a semi-annual grant that we received from the Ohio Arts Council for support of general operating expenses at the Rosewood Arts Center. Generally, we use the funding to support programs such as multi-arts classes, special events, exhibitions, workshops, the Kettering Children's Theater, and Art on the Commons. So just think of it as general outside support for the operations that we undertake at the Rosewood Arts Center. Be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions? Okay, call the roll.
Mrs. Hall,
Yes.
Mr. Scott,
Yes.
Ms. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Sudduth,
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan,
Yes.
Mayor Laner.
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution imposing a moratorium of 16 months on the acceptance of zoning applications and granting of zoning approvals for vehicle fueling or recharging establishments, kiosks, automobile washing establishments, convenience stores, and/or small box discount stores. I move for approval.
Second.
Okay, let's see, Mr. Greason.
Yes, Your Honor. This moratorium is being put in place to give time, to allow time for the city to update its future land use plan. And as you'll recall, you recently authorized us to begin that process, and we're selecting consultants now to undertake an update to our comprehensive future land use plan, which has not been done in 20 years. This will give us time to update the future land use plan and study, evaluate, and make recommendations on the appropriate location and development requires for these uses to ensure the health, safety, and welfare of the public. I think it's important to note that this is a pause. That doesn't necessarily mean that gas stations, car washes, kiosks, convenience stores, or small box discount stores won't be constructed in Kettering sometime in the future. But we're going to take a pause while we update our plans and our zoning regulations to make sure when they are done in Kettering, or new ones are placed in Kettering, that they're done the right way in the right place, and that we have the regulations in place to ensure the best long-term future for our community. Additionally, I would say that this moratorium would not prevent renovations, additions, or improvements to existing facilities or these types of uses that already exist in our community. Be glad to answer any questions that you may have. We certainly recommend approval.
Does anyone have any questions?
Yes, I've got a question. I realize we covered this earlier in session, but just kind of for the record, other municipalities locally have established moratoriums, and which cities are those?
Yes, Centerville recently adopted a moratorium for these very uses, and Huber Heights has done one recently in the past year on some of the same type of uses, and particularly fueling stations.
And additionally, the city council could choose to shorten the length of the moratorium, correct?
Yes, this moratorium is proposed for 16 months. The answer is yes. This is proposed for 16 months. The reason for that is to allow for two processes. First is the update to the comprehensive plan, or also we also call it the future land use plan, and then a time to implement changes to the zoning code, which would follow the update to that plan.
Okay, any other questions? Please call the roll.
Mr. Scott,
While I understand and share a little bit of the concern about some of these establishments, I feel it does send the wrong message to the business community at large, so I vote no.
Ms. Duval,
Yes.
Mr. Sudduth,
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher,
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan,
Yes.
Mrs. Hall,
Yes.
Mayor Laner.
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to apply for a cybersecurity software and services grant from the Cyber Ohio Local Government Grant Program. The estimated cost is $20,000. This is requested by the Administrative Systems Department, and I move for approval.
Second.
Mr. Bergstresser.
Thank you, Your Honor. This is a grant program that a new grant program through the state of Ohio that we are exploring, and it would be for an award of a maximum of $20,000. We require a 20% local match from the city. It would work to enhance the cybersecurity initiatives that are already underway or planned for in the near future for our computer systems. If we are awarded a grant, it will certainly accelerate the implementation of one or more of these initiatives. I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Anyone have any questions? Okay, call the roll.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Suddeth?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Mayor Lehner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing the city manager to accept reimbursement from the State Disaster Relief Program for personnel expenses incurred during the total solar eclipse on April 8 of this year, 2024. The estimated award is $11,747.67. This is requested by the fire department, and I do move for approval.
Second.
Okay. Mr. Greason.
Well, I think the introduction was self-explanatory, but I'd be glad to answer any questions that you may have.
Okay. No questions? Call the roll.
Mr. Suddeth?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mayor Lehner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution authorizing acceptance of a donation from the American Legion Post 598 through the Kettering Police Foundation for the purchase of 4 automated external defibrillators. The estimated cost is $6,000, none budgeted. It is requested by the police department, and I move for their approval.
Second.
Okay, Mr. Greason.
I have nothing to add, Your Honor, unless you have any questions.
Thank you, American Legion.
Yes. We should say that,
Yeah.
because it seems like every
They
agenda.
keep bringing more and more money to our city in this wonderful way, so.
Indeed,
Very much
indeed they do.
appreciated.
We're thankful.
Thank you. Call the roll.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Suddeth?
Yes.
Mayor Lehner?
Yes.
Your Honor, I have a resolution to make supplemental appropriations for current expenses and other expenditures of the City of Kettering, State of Ohio during the fiscal year ending December 31st, 2024. The estimated cost is $555,974.46. There's $0 budgeted, and it is requested by the Finance Department. I move for approval.
Second?
Okay, Mr. Greason.
Yes, Your Honor. The first item that you're appropriating funds for, you just acted on. This is the $6,000 donation from the American Legion for the automated external defibrillators. So I'll say it like I always do. You authorized accepting them. Now you need to appropriate the funds so that we can go spend them to buy the AEDs. Additionally, at a prior meeting, you approved your Community Development Block Grant Program Annual Action Plan. You did that at the last meeting. This is a supplemental appropriation to advance that plan. You'll be appropriating the dollars, the total $1,197,805.32, less what was previously appropriated. I'm sorry. You'll be appropriating $549,974.46. So that is the $1,000,001 less what you've previously appropriated, $647,000.
Okay. Included in this is the grant from the Ohio Arts Council, is it as well? And I'm only asking because Katie Newport is here, and I'd love to have her say a few words about We Care Arts that I believe is receiving.
Yeah, so no,
funding from that.
the Rosewood Arts grant is not on this supplemental appropriation. and it doesn't relate to We Care Arts. It
Okay.
relates to Rosewood.
Relates to Rosewood?
Yeah.
Okay. All right.
And so I don't think we have the supplemental for, yet for the grant funds for the Rosewood Art Center. That'll be coming in a subsequent.
So you're welcome to come back at that time. Okay, thank you for being here. Okay. We have no ordinances, and
We need to call roll.
we need to call the roll. All right. Sorry.
That's okay. Mr. Sullivan?
Yes.
Mrs. Hall?
Yes.
Mr. Scott?
Yes.
Ms. Duval?
Yes.
Mr. Suddeth?
Yes.
Mrs. Fisher?
Yes.
Mayor Lehner?
Yes. Thank you. We have no ordinance in first reading tonight. Do we have any certifications of petitions?
We do not have any certifications or petitions this evening.
Okay. We'll then move on to the manager's report, community update.
Yes. I am pleased to tell you that there are some great concerts that are coming to the Phrase. Certainly tomorrow night, Get the Lead Out, and then a series of wonderful concerts that are highlighted on the screen, not ending with the Band to Flight, because we have concerts in September, but this August group ending with the Band to Flight on Thursday, October 22nd. You can get tickets at the Phrase Fan Store, at the Town and Country Shopping Center, at our ticket office the day of the show, at phrase.com, at etix.com, or by phone. So if you want a ticket, there's a lot of ways to get them, and we encourage people to come out and see a concert at the Phrase. Bicycling is important in our community, and we want to emphasize Kettering as a place to bicycle. And so Cycle Kettering community rides have been scheduled Sunday, August 25th, 3 to 5 p.m. Enjoy a leisurely, no sweat pace, but I will note it's 10 to 15 mile ride. So
I sweat the last time, just for the record.
I have an e-bike, I didn't.
I think they're motivating me to get back on my bike, and we want people to join us in exploring our parks and neighborhoods. Please do so. Our Good Neighbor Award nominations are going to be accepted through August 31st, 2024, and you can scan the QR code on the screen, contact our staff. We encourage you to nominate someone whose efforts, small and large, make your neighborhood a better place. As you know, sustainability is one of our key goals in our strategic plan, and we want opportunities for the public to learn how they can be more sustainable. Please consider joining us for EcoFest. It'll be fun and family-oriented education focused on helping the planet. September 14th, 2024, 11 a.m., 3 p.m. at our beloved Lincoln Park Civic Commons. If you're ready to shop and save, the Kettering Tot Shop sale is our vendor sale with items exclusively for ages newborn to 12. That will be at the Latham Senior Center Saturday, September 14th, 9 to 2. If you need more information, you can check out our Parks, Recreation, and Cultural Arts website. And if you're like me, sending a kid off to college and now need to get rid of many of her papers from high school, you need to get her rid of a lot of paper just from your house, or recycle styrofoam. Shred Day is Saturday, September 28th, 9 a.m. to noon at the Fairmont High School parking lot.
Just remember, you're going to sit around every night reading those old papers, remembering the good old days. But, sorry, shred them.
Some of them. That's it, Your Honor.
That's it, okay. Thank you, Matt. Okay, let's see. If anyone would like to speak before City Council tonight, please come on down to the podium. Each speaker will have a 5-minute limit. Speakers are asked to state their name and address. Is there anyone who would like to speak before City Council tonight? If not, there's your chance. All right. We'll now move on to City Council reports. I'd like to start with Mrs. Fisher.
Well, ma'am, I will talk about, there's been a lot of things going on, but I'm going to take this in chunks. 2 weeks ago, they did have Optimist Day in the park. What a great thing for all the optimists to come together and let the kids experience all sorts of games, and everybody walked about literally with bags of stuff that they won. I was disappointed I didn't see my favorite optimist up there. However, I know that he was celebrating 20 years with his beautiful bride that weekend, and so congratulations to you and Letty for 20 great years. And then this past weekend, we had Art on the Common. If you're anybody, you were at Art on the Common, and we had a VIP reception the evening before, which was fantastic, and I will just tell everybody, the new juried exhibition is now out, so I got to go through that as well, and it's about height, width, and depth. And so another fine art show that's right here in our backyard, literally at Rosewood, and I'd encourage people to go check it out and vote for your favorite piece. And that's all I have.
Okay. Mr. Sullivan.
Yeah, as a Kettering City Schools teacher, I wanted to report that school starts Thursday for most kids in Kettering. So, make sure you're getting those bedtimes back in order and things like that. We had open house tonight at my daughter's elementary school. I think all the elementary schools across the city did that tonight. So families are getting ready and it's exciting. Teachers are ready. That's it for me.
Thank you.
Nothing for me tonight for the good of the order.
Thought you had something from your committee you wanted to talk about.
I was going to share about that next time, once we firmed it up a little bit.
Okay, all right, great. We'll look forward to that. Bob.
I want to thank Mrs. Fisher for her kind words. It's also reassuring to know that I'm your favorite optimist, even though another one's sitting right next to you.
Oh, I didn't know you were an optimist. I didn't see you working it.
He's a
You were
newbie.
working it, weren't you? You were working it. Look at that.
On one of my little independent research projects, I did some digging for some data, and this is as of the year 2022 census, that in Kettering, we had approximately 3,500 retail workers, okay? That's 12% of the workforce in this city. Now, granted, they may not all be residents, but that head count exceeds the number of people involved in manufacturing in our city. So my point to all this is that we've got a lot of retail workers. They earn their livelihood in retail establishments in Kettering, and it behooves us to shop Kettering because people's livelihood depends on it. Thank you.
Just two quick things tonight. I'm happy to say that the acceptance letters for this year's class for Kettering Leadership Academy have gone out, and I'm excited because Captain Savino, who is here tonight, he will be a member this year, and we're very excited to have him and everyone else, including an employee of We Care Arts. Yay! And the only other thing I want to say is last month, Adrienne Draper, a city council member from Inglewood, passed away. She was only, I think, 27, somewhere around there. She was one of the youngest, if not the youngest, elected official in this region. And she was very intelligent, very passionate about what she was doing. So I just wanted to take a moment to remember her and pass our condolences on to her family, her friends, and the city of Inglewood. And that's it. Sorry, a little bit of a downer I'm ending on for you.
Thank you, Lisa.
I just want to take a minute to commend the staff of Parks and Rec and Cultural Arts for the successful Art on the Commons again. It was just a perfect day this weekend on Sunday. The artists that were there were just amazing. In our household, it's the unofficial start of the holiday shopping season. And my checkbook reflects that from Sunday. Do we still say checkbook?
There is a
That felt very boomer just then. I'm sorry, okay. The other thing is, I just want to give a shout out to Reynolds and Reynolds. I was a guest lecturer at the Reynolds and Reynolds Entrepreneur Boot Camp for Veterans, at Wright State University, the Soin School of Business yesterday, and just reminded that program that attracts veterans from around the country to our region to learn to be better, more successful entrepreneurs was funded entirely by Reynolds and Reynolds. And it was just a reminder that the companies that are here in our city are just so generous to how they invest in our community. And I was just surrounded by Ray swag yesterday, and I just could not get away from it during this time at Soin College. On the same topic of veterans, I was honored to be a volunteer on the honor flight to D.C. Saturday with Honor Flight and Al Bailey and his team, where we escorted 100 veterans from the region, 98 Vietnam veterans, 2 Korean War veterans, and 3 lady veterans from Vietnam era were on the flight. And it's exactly what you think it is. We took 100 veterans from Dayton International Airport on a charter at 7:30 to D.C., and we see all the monuments with them, and I pushed a new friend, Mr. Parker, to the monuments all day, and then we fly them back after dinner Saturday nights. It's a 22-hour day for those veterans and volunteers, but it's a real honor to escort those heroes of our community to D.C. and back. So if you're interested in learning more about that, just Google Honor Flight. It happens around the country, but this program originated here in Dayton. So it's a Dayton program that was started and now has spread around the country. So just a real fun weekend with those veterans. That's all I have.
Okay. I'd just like to remind everybody that Holiday at Home is coming up very soon here on Labor Day. And remind, if you didn't already know it, that Bruce Duke, our former member of council, is the Grand Marshal this year. They'll be honoring Bruce for his, I think, 37 years of service to the city. So be sure to give him an extra wave. I would like to briefly mention an issue that is of concern to everyone. It should be a concern to everyone in our community. And this is a problem that is rising across the nation, and that's chronic absenteeism in our schools. This was a growing problem for a number of years. COVID made it much, much worse, and it is being recognized as one of the most severe challenges we have in our schools these days. A chronically absent child is one who was not there for 10% or more of the school time school's in session. It went as high as 30% during 21-22, which was the year after COVID isolation. People got used to not showing up at school or going when they felt like it. Unfortunately, that trend has sort of hung in with us. While it has seen some improvement, it remains to be a serious problem. There are approximately 15% of our kids in Kettering schools that are chronically absent. This needs to turn around. It's going to be a key focus not only for the superintendents across the state this year, but for the Mayor's Alliance, which is a statewide group of mayors in our 30 largest cities. They have adopted this joint project with the superintendents to try to address this issue. So as your kids are gearing up for the school year, just remember every single day is important. Just because it's just kindergarten doesn't mean that you can take those kindergartners out, or first graders, second graders, and all the way up through high school. It starts in kindergarten. The idea that you go to school every single day. So I'm going to be harping on that the same way that Bob harps on shopping local. Shop local and keep your kids in school. That is the conclusion of our meeting for this evening. Our next council meeting will be on August 27th. And that concludes tonight's meeting. Thank you.